If we're going to go live, it's here we are.
Oh,
Hi, Gina.
hey, Angela. Thank you for inviting me again to talk about something really wonderful and interesting.
It's always fun to talk with you about love because we just both love love. So today we're talking about love in your body,
Hmm.
and what I titled it was "What Does Shape and Size Got to Do with It?" Inspired by one of my idols, Tina Turner.
Yes.
Whoa, what's love got to do with it? So, what does shape and size of your body got to do with love or loving your body?
Everything. Everything. Oh my goodness. This is it's a lifelong struggle for, I would say, the majority of women and some men. Women more because we're more sensitive to society telling us we have to be a size 5 or a size 4 or a size 0. Men, if they are like brawny and they're okay, right? But it's hard. It's so hard for women. I always wondered why I was given this body. So in my family, my mother's side of the family, the Sicilian side, they're skinny as far as I can remember.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
how
Isn't that
yeah.
interesting?
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you're not skinny, but you're
But I'm
not
not.
skinny.
I'm not skinny. And on my father's side of the family was southern Italy, the farmers. There are like
Whoa.
women that. So all my aunts have the belly. They had skinny legs, but they had this big belly, which is what's happening to me as I age. But I could never be a size 5. The smallest I've ever achieved was a size, I think, 10. But at a size 10 or 11, I look like a size 5 because of my bone structure. But to achieve that, for me, it's always been a struggle. Now, as a little girl growing up, I see pictures of myself when I was 5 years old, and I was a regular sized kid. And then something happened to my body. I don't know if it was my tonsils, whatever. Something happened, and something shifted me that I put on weight. And I became this little round meatball. So when I was 9 years old and I came to Canada, my sister took one look at me. The woman I idolized, I thought like was like my second mom or my first mom because my mom was not always there, and mentally and emotionally she wasn't there. My sister, she didn't hug me more, but she always had to boss me around, whatever. So to me, she was like my mother figure, right? And when she left, I was, I believe, 6 years old, or yeah, 6 years old. And when I came to Canada and I saw her 3 years later, I had evolved into this chubby buddy, and I didn't think about it because in Italy, kids back then, when I was growing up, it wasn't about how big you are because everybody, Italians, I mean, if you know most Italians are like little, they're happy people. It's not about how big or fat you are. It's just about socializing in a way that it's like, yeah, you're my friend and that type of thing. So when I came to Canada, it became more, it became a hard subject for me because my sister's, the first impact was when I was expecting her to hug me and say, oh, I miss you so much. It's like, what happened to you? You got fat. And it's
She
like,
said that the moment
yeah,
she saw you?
yeah,
Oh my god, that would have, like, bruised
yeah.
you for the rest of your life.
Well,
Oh my god.
a lot of things. Her leaving me when I was 6 hurt me, but that was like because I was so looking forward to seeing her, and then I thought, whatever. And then going to school here, I was in grade 5, and I'm looking at these little skinny girls, and they're going in the back of the some places in the school, and they're necking for these guys. I mean, they're 9 and 10 years old, and I saw that and I didn't understand. And then they started making fun of my looks. I was just this fat person that didn't was not beautiful. So I would ask, and I would go home and in tears a lot of times and say, why did I get this body? And for
Yeah.
me to achieve weight loss, I mean, I truly need to be eating possibly like 800 to 1,000 calories a day. That's what my body demands for me to be that size, that small, and exercise 2, 3 hours a day, which is something I cannot do all the time. And it's been a lifelong progression of realizing that I just have to accept who I am. And if people don't like what they see, well, too bad for them. Because I can't fight with my body. Because the more I fought with my body, the more I wondered why I am who I am, or why do I look this way. I mean, and then I've seen pictures of myself. As I was I mean, I took an album and I thought, oh my God, I was hot when I was that age. And after having given birth to three children at the age of 29, it's like, wow. So it's not even the body that we're given, it's how we see the image.
See it. So that's
Yeah.
the irony. You were trying to be a size 5, you got to a size 10,
Yeah. Or
you were
12.
hot, but you couldn't, even though you got the weight, you
Yeah.
couldn't appreciate it. You
Yeah.
couldn't see
Yes.
that this is enough, or I love myself, or this is
Yes.
beautiful. You couldn't see beauty in it. And how, so with your sister, so how old were you when that happened? You were 8 when she said, "You got
9.
fat."
Yeah. Look at
9.
it. 9.
Yeah.
So I took after my father's side of the family. All my aunts were big women. So I was used to seeing women that were big in Italy, right? I mean, to see a skinny girl was not, it was more normal to see a full figured woman than to see a skinny girl. It was more normal to see a size, let's say a 14 to 18, than to see a size 5. I didn't know zero existed. When I heard that
I
there's a
didn't
size,
know until I went to the USA. Growing
right?
up in Australia, we don't have 0. So
So
I
it's,
find that bizarre that in the USA,
yeah,
they have a marketing brand of 0. I mean, that would do your head in as a woman. I
it
didn't know
does.
it existed.
So why was I given his body? I believe I was given his body that I needed to learn to love myself just for who I am. But it took a lifelong, and I still struggle with it because, and not because, I mean, I still want to go and do liposuction or tummy tucks. And then I'm thinking, two people died recently, and one man died because he went to the hospital and from one surgery he wasn't taken care of, and he died of infections and it killed him. And then I thought, maybe I don't want to go that route. Maybe I just want to be who I am and love every moment, right? Because you never know when you do something to your body that's not normal. You know, I mean, he had to have the operation, so why should it? So me having something just because I need to remove this excess weight, and it's not even because I want to look hot, because I'm beautiful just the way I am, but I want to bring down the levels of cholesterol and all that stuff. And if I remove the weight, it might help. That's my mind right now. How it's thinking. Why was I given this body? It's been a lifelong struggle, question. It's been a place where I always thought I wasn't good enough. But then it's not even the body that we're given that makes us not good enough. It's the people around us. Like my sister did not need to tell me, "Oh my God, look at you! You got fat. Like what happened to you?" She could have said, "I haven't seen you in 3 years. Come here, let me give you a big hug and let me kiss you." Right. So it's just the impact of how we even socially connect with each other. And then
Mm.
going to school, all these kids. I mean, there was a girl at school. She was like, I wasn't fat, ugly. I was just a little chubby kid. And there was this other girl because she had all the right clothes to wear, and everybody seemed to have liked her for some reason. I don't know why. But she was about the same weight as me, but she was popular, so they all loved her.
Interesting.
So it wasn't my
How did
body
that
weight.
affect you? Because so you were comparing, because that's a part of the mind. The mind compares,
Well,
which is a
yeah,
big problem with
yeah,
our social media today. So in
yes,
Italy, you had these big women
yeah,
around you, and that was normal.
yeah.
And then I'm
And I
just
was
trying to,
loved.
yeah,
Yeah.
show how this might apply to other people. So when you were 9, you came to a different culture, Canada, and your sister first off says, "Wow, you got fat," and that like makes you think, what's wrong with me?" Instead of feeling
Hmm.
good about your body. But then you see this other girl the same size as you. People love her, and they're like looking at you like, yuck." So how did that impact your
So
feeling
then
about your size?
it became more of a, and I don't know how better word to say that, it became more of a mental, emotional issue because now the mind is thinking, what's wrong with me? Why are people looking at me and seeing that I'm ugly? Like am I ugly? So you start questioning yourself. People, and this is, I'm talking more about girls because I know girls how they feel and they think. I mean, I know some boys that feel the same way, but it's not about body weight. I mean, one of my grandsons is conscious about his body weight, but he's a big boy, right? But boys can do different things about it. You know, they can become like popular and tough. I can protect you. Like one of my sons did. He was a big. He was like a little meatball, but he became the protector of other kids at school. So because of that, he was looked at as a hero,
Ah,
right?
yeah.
So boys have different ways of dealing with that. But with
But
girls,
if you're not a big guy, that's one of the issues we have now with also other body parts. If they're not big, some and if you're a shorter man or an average size man, a lot of it's short man syndrome. We used to call it. It's
okay,
a real thing. And if you're not a big guy, you can. It's very primal. Like I know a lot of
yes,
men who, because they're not big, they can feel more like they've got to use their humor or they're talking more in the
yeah,
streets so they don't get into fights or in intimacy if they don't
yeah,
if
that's
they
true,
don't feel confident,
right,
they feel on
yeah.
a back foot when it comes to
Well,
intimacy. Yeah.
yeah, their ego is not good, and they feel like they're not good enough. So a man will, I guess, will look at it more from that part instead of where a woman sees the whole body not being good enough, right? Conversations I've had with men. Well, I like women that have small tits and there are small waist, and I was like, well, I don't have those. I never had those.
Well, get ready for these. So,
So this is what I have, but it's hurtful because I always questioned why am I not good enough. That's what it boils down to. Why am I not good enough? And I've
you
had
know
men, yeah,
what fascinates me is that this "why am I not good enough" from 9 years old lasts so long and that you struggle with it throughout your midlife to later life, and that's fascinating to me. So, considering that you were born with this shape and this size, and then you had to face a life of struggling with it, that you've now discovered I can actually learn how to accept myself, or what have you discovered in that struggle?
what I've discovered is that I have two choices. I can learn to love myself for who I am and see the beauty within myself, the woman that what I've achieved, what I have done, and I'm not an ugly person. So the way I felt that I was ugly, I felt like why was I even thinking that? And I've discovered that I could either learn to do that and make peace with myself. So I have to make peace with my body and be okay with who I am and how I look and how and just become in tune with it. Find some kind of a balance where I'm moving it and I'm okay with it. Because as I got older now, the arthritis, so all those years of not loving myself cost me pain. Like I have heart palpitations now. I have high blood pressure, a little bit of diabetes, cholesterol. Like all these things are because, and it's not like I've always eaten a lot in my life. I don't remember myself
No.
eating a lot. I enjoy food. Like when I eat like, this is so good. Like I could taste it. But I do that with anything. I do that with eating. I do that with loving my children. I do that with, when I'm passionate with my man. It's like I just pour my whole body into it. So I don't think I'm the kind of person that ate a lot, but it's just my body's way of betraying me. I felt like it's like of saying, no, you're not good enough because everybody says you're not. So I had to rethink that and learn that our mind lies to us. The mind tells us we're not good enough because the mind hears what people says and believes what people says. But people are saying that because maybe they're looking at me and thinking, nah, whatever, like um, a lot of people, if a person criticizes me, it's because they think lowly of themselves. But I took a lifetime to learn. Like I would not look at you and criticize you. Why would I do that? But if I'm looking at you and thinking like, oh, okay, that's because I'm questioning something within myself. So I came across this thing on Facebook once says I have a big not audience, no, the people that follow you, like because I have so many people that don't like me that I have my own following. But that's because people look, and this can be with family. This can be with, I mean, my own brothers. They used to call me a cow. Moo. I would walk into the room and go, moo, here comes the
Ooh,
cow. Like,
yeah.
and they're looking at me, look at me, look how good I am. I'm looking at them thinking, oh yeah, okay, whatever. Like, maybe when you were young, maybe when you were whatever, but I don't see that now. And also learning to accept that it's not just about your physical looks, but it's about your heart, your soul. So coming to terms with I either don't like myself and end up having a heart attack because my body my body will just turn against me and hurt me so bad that it will either incapacitate or kill me, or learn to love who I am, make peace with it, accept and say and embrace who I am as a my body, my mind, my soul, embrace it, but especially my body because I mean my toes feel numb a lot, and I'm thinking I'm going to keep walking anyways. One side is heavier than the other side, so this side that's heavier has a lot more issues physically because of it. So I have to make and apparently everybody has that. This is what one of my chiropractors told me once, that everybody's body is off. We're not we're not balanced 100%, right? So learning to accept that, okay, so you're a little bit bigger, you're a little bit smaller, I got to find out how it works, right? Or my hand falls asleep a lot. That means I can't write. People say, you have to journal, you have to journal. I can't journal because I can't write. My hand falls asleep, right? Um, so learning to accept what it is within me and understanding why I have these. Because for a long time, I've not appreciated and loved me.
Mm.
So this is how my body is telling me, you don't love me? It's like my sister, oh, look at you, you're fat. I was expecting a hug and I was expecting love. Instead, I got like, whatever. And that hurt. So my body is rejecting the fact that I didn't love it all these years. So
Mm.
I have to learn to understand, to accept, and to love who I am, just who I am. And if people don't like it, that's okay. It's
Mm.
your idea. It's not mine. But that takes a lot of learning, and especially when people the broken record is you're fat, you're ugly, and you're stupid. My first husband kept telling me that you're fat, ugly, and stupid. Fat and right now, if you see him, I mean, he's been bulimic for years because he cannot accept who he is. So he was throwing that on me because he couldn't accept who he was, and because I looked beautiful, instead of telling me you're beautiful, he would tell me you're this. So then I would feel bad, so he would feel good. So there's a lot of mind games. But the body is something that we have to. Why was I born with this body? Because this is the body that God gave me. This is the body that my genes came from. This is who I am, right? Can I have something a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner? Possibly. But am I going to fight myself on this anymore? I know I can't. I can't. I accept. I love. I get my hands, I do Reiki, I touch my heart, and I love this, and I love my big belly. I can't help it, it's there. Can't help it. It doesn't want to go anywhere. It wants to stay there. It loves me more than I loved it, but it loves me. See, so these things, these parts of my body love me. This is what this is. It's like we love you and we're not leaving you. We're sticking around.
We're sticking around.
And it's like, okay, you can stick around if you like. What can I do? I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm gonna love you anyways.
I th-
Yes.
I think that's a big lesson. Like the struggle that is teaching us, like the struggle of loving or accepting your body. It's just getting to that point of exhaustion where it's like,
Yes.
I've done this for like 40, 50, 60, 80 years. I'm
Right.
done.
Enough. Enough.
This is my body. It's
This is
enough.
it. It's enough.
That's
This is
it.
who I am.
That's it.
And well, the moment you come to terms with it, I think, and I'm looking for that moment in time, Angela, and you'll see it when I think I've accepted.
I think you found it when you embraced your belly. I remember actually you started embracing your belly. I can't remember when it was. It was
Mhm.
after I met you 15 years ago or some time we met. So I remember there was a point where you just started embracing it, and like my big belly, I'm embracing it. And you started putting your hands on it and just go and feeling it and just like, oh,
Oh
this is
yeah,
what it is.
this is what it
And the
is.
mind was still wanting it to be different,
It still
but there
does,
was
but
yeah,
so this is the conversation
yeah.
that my heart has to have with my. It's all about again the mind. So the mind is part of the body, the brain. So the brain wants to confuse us and tell us nah 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 nah, but the heart, the soul, the love energy has to say to the brain, you know what? It's enough now. Stop bullying me. You're not going to bully me anymore because I'm going to come to accept, I'm accepting this. I'm loving me, and I'm going to love you, but you need to behave yourself because this bullying doesn't work. That's it. But that's what it is. We bully ourselves. Yeah, it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting
Yeah.
for that day that I totally accept everything of my body, and then I'll see it. Like that's what my daughter says, Mom, you have to accept yourself, and then everything is going to fall into place. I thought, okay. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that day. I mean, God willing, I'll live to be 80, 90 years old, and you'll see me and say, okay, Gina, you accept, your body's accepted it.
I got it. I got it.
I got it. Yeah. Can we go back to that conversation we had in like 2021 or 22? And yeah, it's interesting. It comes down to love. It always comes down to love. And I've seen people die this week, this month. I've seen people get in trouble. And I'm thinking, like, why am I worried about my big belly? When if I don't love myself fully today, I may not be here tomorrow to do that.
Yeah.
I may not even be here tomorrow to tell somebody today I spent lunch with my daughter. That was nice because we sat down and I went and my grandchildren, one on one side, one on the other, came and hugged me and kissed me. Elena and Johnny, you should see them. They're so cute. And Johnny's getting to his place where he's actually asked me to be a sponsor for confirmation. So I don't know if it's because of that, but he's bonding with me a lot when I go over, right? Like he's always hanging around and hugging me and kissing me and throwing him. This is a 13-year-old boy. And I said to him, says, can I do that on your wedding day? Yes, Nana, you can. It's okay. I'm going to hold you to it. And I just sat there and said, okay, boys and girls, love me. Let me stay in this adoration of love. And that's what they did. Even the dog came and it's like, love me. And it's like, see, they don't see the belly. They see the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're playing cards. We're playing Uno. And my daughter, I made a comment, whatever. My daughter goes, Mom, can I kidnap you? I said, please. The love is not about that. It's about, and she made a beautiful, I mean, I was up this morning at 1:30 because I was thinking about work. I was like, well, I need to get this thing done. My computer is not, whatever's not working. So, and I couldn't sleep. So I literally had breakfast at 4:30 this morning, a.m. because I'd been awake already 3 to 4 hours, and my stomach was feeling like, okay, if you don't feed me, I'm gonna throw up, right? Because that's what my body does. My body reacts. So I drink a lot of water to stop it from reacting. Because if it's not eating on time or eating something, I will get nauseous. So I have a very sensitive stomach, right? And then what I do is I do that. I went there and I realized I went to church and went out, picked up some stuff to bring to Carmela's and came here, picked up Louis, and I had a coffee. I picked up a coffee at Tim Hortons. I wanted to treat myself. It's family day. So I ate breakfast at 4:30, then I ate lunch at 1:15. And she had made pasta, like a sauce and sausages and some porchetta, and she likes vegetables. She doesn't eat wheat and flour. And she made almond cookies, Amarati. But everything is like, it's got no milk. It has almond flour. So they were like, she could eat them because she's very sensitive. And I brought frozen blueberries and frozen cherries. It's like, so the food that we ate was healthy. And I had portions because I wasn't hungry. I wanted to eat. So I'm thinking, so why does my body hold on to this stuff this way? Right? And then instead of having like the desserts are rich in whatever, we were having the frozen stuff and I put in a bowl. And the sun was so strong, so I put it on a table in the sun, so they kind of slowly were melting, and just chewing on that, it was amazing. So it's all about feeding the body, but also feeding the soul, enjoying what you're eating, enjoying every bite. It's nurturing, it's delicious, right? Um,
And sharing with your
Sharing,
loved ones.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just everybody sitting at the table and everybody talking and having this and that. And then, the boys went to watch TV and fall asleep on the couch, and us, the kids, and my daughter and I were playing cards. And it was just an amazing place. I'm thinking, like, this is how I want to be seen. This is who I am. So the
Right.
people that love you will see you, not the over big belly or the fat person. They see the person that is amazing. The person that love you, truly love you, will see that. The people that are jealous will see that you're perfect, but they're going to put you down to hurt you. The people that don't love you will find a way to make you feel like you're not worthy. So it doesn't come down to my body, what my body is. It comes down to what they are throwing on me, their perception. And I have to say, God, use your divine energy, throw back the bad, but throw it back and turn it good and send it them. Because if they're sending you this negative energy, it's because they're in a bad place. So
Yeah,
send it back with love. Make them happy. Make them feel good, peaceful, and just allow me to absorb what is good. You know, and but that thought mind pattern took a long time to achieve, as you know. Took a long time to achieve.
right.
Yeah.
I think you brought up a very important lesson about what shape and size, each person's shape and size, and that relationship to other people.
Yeah.
If people are saying things about you, that's a reflection, some reflection of yourself, how you feel or think about yourself that you came to accept. Like for you as the 9-year-old, it was other people's lack of acceptance of you. Oh, you
Yeah.
got fat. What happened to you? And you're like, don't you love me? Like, I thought you loved me. So every relationship, whether it's something at school or online, or you're saying that whatever people say is some sort of reflection of something in you or something in them. So
Something
we're
in
all the
them.
same. We're
Yeah.
all the same.
Yeah.
We're always, the body is like one of the biggest teachers about acceptance. Uh,
Yes.
and and if someone's saying something horrible, it's usually something about their insides, but it's also to trigger your insecurities or your feelings that you're not enough or you are unlovable. There's something you can't be accepted in this world. You're not acceptable. And animals don't go through this. I mean, no animal cares about their shape or size. We
No.
specifically have that weird, absurd sort of obsession with how big we are or our size or what people think about us. So that's huge. I think for young people, if you're constantly online and comparing, your mind starts to do this repetition of comparing. And I've talked a lot about that with Patty in building better relationships, how the social media takes that part of the comparing mind and makes it 100 times worse. And
Social
we were
media.
doing
Yeah.
that before social media, though. We were doing that.
Yeah.
I used to do this thing. I'd walk past a glass window on the street at the shops and I'd look at my belly. And I did it compulsively. I'm talking like, I don't know, 30 years. I don't do it anymore. But every now and then it comes back. And that's from repetition. So for young people with any media or a glass window, if you're constantly thinking something, it becomes part of your body's ecosystem. It's how your body is constantly looking for that outside inside reflection.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really valuable how you said about what people are projecting if they don't like you. There's some part of themselves that they're not accepting or not comfortable with. And we're
Yes.
constantly, our shape and our size is about that. So if you're a small man and you're constantly conscious about not being a big guy, that's something that will constantly be shown to you until you start to accept what other things about your soul or yourself are really amazing. And how do you embrace? So I wanted to finish with like that piece that you talked about because it is a constant struggle. I think when you do habits of repeating these ideas that you're not enough, they become what you live with. That becomes your body. You don't experience the joy that you're talking about, or the peace or the pleasure that you're talking about with food and eating the food that
Anything. Yeah.
can't be joy because your mind has taken over. So what can we explore around that peace around? I mean, how do you start embracing the body just as it is? Like I know the mind's going to be problem child. Behave, mind. Stop telling me I hate myself and I'm ugly. How do you embrace peace in
It,
the body?
it takes a lot of self work. So, I mean, not everybody is at the level of where there's different levels of how much you dislike, people dislike their bodies or something about them. And that also all depends on how much um, bullying you receive or some kind of abuse, whatever, around it because of other people around you. I really believe that if, again, it comes down to if we teach our children that they're beautiful no matter what, and we kind of te- keep going and keep going and show them that, you know what, a size 4 is not normal. What's normal is a healthy body, and healthy could be anywhere between a size 12, a size 18, a size 5, but healthy is important and how you feel with that, the peace you have with that. So teaching that social media is just something. I mean, they're marketing. Social media markets because they want to sell. But teaching our children, teaching our grandchildren that, you know what, you're just beautiful the way you are. You got long legs, you got a short body, you got a short torso, you have small boobs. It doesn't matter. You're just beautiful the way you are, and teaching them. So, I mean, if I had anybody that I would have taught me that, if I stayed in Italy, I would not have had this problem, because over there I was
Interesting.
accepted. I was accepted. My aunts loved me the way I was because I was part of their gene pool, right? And my uncles loved me the way they were, and my parents never complained about the way I looked. And my friends, I had so many friends at such a young age, boys and girls, they all loved me just because I was Gina. You know, and it's also different countries, right? Different countries have different cultures and all that stuff. But again, the culture, this girl who was not necessarily thin, but because she knew how to walk and how to make herself, there was something about her that people looked at her. And I think it's because of the family where she came from. So there's a lot of things involved in that. But the one thing is finding peace within yourself. And that peace within yourself comes from telling the mind, you know what? Look in the mirror every day and say, look at this belly. It's what I have, and I'm going to love it. Or look at this face. This is who I am. I'm not any different, and I'm going to love it. It's just teaching ourselves how to love ourselves, no matter what.
So the positive language is so, so important from children
Yes,
to because the negative mind is going to be there always.
always.
It's part of the
Yeah,
human condition.
yeah,
And giving the kids the foundation,
yes,
regardless of whatever negative
whatever.
things
Yeah,
come. And then as an adult, just talking to yourself in a
always.
positive way. So when you had that situation of people telling you, "Oh, you've got to journal.
Oh,
You've got to do self-care and journal, and you've got to process," and your fingers are freezing, how would you practice embracing your body there?
I had to learn. Okay, I mean, I had to learn what can Gina do that she feels comfortable with, and I pray. I do a lot of praying, and prayer could be when I go to bed at night. I mean, I could be I'm walking as I'm walking, and the sun is shining, and I say, "Thank you, Lord. This is so beautiful. I'm so blessed. I see this, and you've given me the energy to walk today again, and I can see the ducks, and I can see the otter, and I can see this beautiful stuff, and all these people say hi to me and talk to me, and I have these beautiful dogs, and the dogs come to me and talk to me. So, I mean, it's journaling. Yeah, I had to journal when a very special person to me passed away 2 weeks ago, and that's because I needed to tell him that I missed him. I'm gonna miss him. So I actually picked up a pen and wrote 2 pages worth of stuff. And then my hand was falling asleep. I thought, okay, but I needed to. So I think the body knows. The body knows what it needs to do. The body knows, and we need to listen to it. Like the job
Mm,
I'm having right
okay.
now, I love what I'm doing, but it's the workload is so excessive that I'm having pain in my heart and I'm having headaches. So I need to say, okay, what's more important? That I make this kind of money or that I have a healthy heart and mind? Because if I end up having a heart attack or a stroke, it's not the dying that worries me, it's being incapacitated
Yeah.
and putting that pressure on myself, but also my family and people that
Yeah.
love me. So we need to learn to listen to our body. If the body wants to write, let it write. If the body wants to Sing, let it sing. I mean, I called my daughter the other day. She's at work and she has her own place, whatever. And Saturday there was nobody there but her, and she's got the music on and she's bouncing around on the phone, and I'm bouncing around with her. So I says, "Oh, this is so cool." We're not talking, we're dancing together, right? And I thought we should do this more often. Call each other and say, "Dance," right? And we did that for a few minutes, and we both had a big laugh, and it's positive. So that's positive, right? And when you finish a conversation like that, like, isn't that wonderful? Isn't that better than saying, "Oh, that person said this and that person said that," and you know, that is better. So concentrating on the positive, listening to what the body is actually telling you. And it took me a lot of years. My daughter kept telling, "Mom, you have to listen to your body." She's such a wise woman. So I'm listening. And
Mm,
if it means I cannot do this job for the next, I can only do it for another maybe a couple of months, and tell my boss, "I cannot do this. This is too stressful for me. It's going to make me sick." I have to
yeah,
listen to my body. So honoring your listening, and then honoring what your body is telling you, and make peace with it.
yeah.
And always look in the mirror and say, "You're beautiful. You're hot.
You're
You're
hot,
hot, mama.
mama.
Yeah. Mamacita."
Yeah, I think that's a very good way to leave people with the stress factor, because I notice now one of the gifts of the pandemic is that people have talked about stress now in a very different way.
Yes.
Because we always talked about stress, but we put up
No.
with it. We just
No.
went, no, you have to work like that. You have to produce. You have to be under pressure. You have to meet deadlines until you're dead. You have to just push yourself. And now people are like, no, I don't have to do that. I don't want to. They're actually saying, I mean, our bodies have been telling us that it's this modern lifestyle is actually not in
Not healthy.
alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our
Not
bodies have
healthy.
been telling us through disease
Yes.
and the
Cancer.
Western, yeah.
What is
And it's
cancer? I mean, it's, yeah.
so
You have
now
to
we're finally listening collectively to that, and what you're saying about if you're during the workday, if you're feeling that pressure, like your heart is like, "Ah," it's just saying maybe you're in a high pressured situation, you can't stop, but
yeah.
to give yourself these breaks throughout the day and to spend some time going, okay, what's my body trying to tell me?
I know what it's telling me.
Yeah,
It's telling me I
yeah,
cannot do this. I can. So the bottom line is, I need to have a conversation with my manager saying that the stress load I cannot handle. Either uh, depreciate the stress load. I mean, I want to work 8 hours a day. I don't want to work 15 hours a day. I don't care if you pay me overtime. I want to be healthy. I want to finish working and know that I've done what I have to do, and that's it. Right? That don't give me more and more and more to do, because I can't. I cannot handle it. Um, some people they can because they're younger, and I mean everybody says this, some stress is good, some, but I've had my life filled with stress continuously, and I've come to a point, Angela, that I can't handle it anymore, and my body screams at me now, and I know that if this pain that I feel in my heart, if I do something, I need to do something different, because I don't want to end up being sick.
mm,
So I'm listening to the body, honoring what the body is telling me. You know what? I mean, I know people have to work and pay money. They have kids, they have bills. I'm not in that situation anymore. I've done all that. So if it means I have to make a lot less money and just be happy, then that's okay too. So finding making peace with it, right?
yeah.
Yeah, peace.
And making peace is hard when you're in stress. I
Yeah.
think the struggle of the mind accepting who we are and our bodies, that every human goes through it in their different way. And now if you're in stress, it's a really big step to just say, how do I find peace?
Yeah.
Because you can't change when you're in stress. It's almost like the human species has evolved to this stressful culture that we're forced to find peace, whether we
Well, either
whether
we're
we think
forced.
it's a good idea or not. You're
Well,
forced to.
you're
Yeah.
forced to either through, because the body will. I mean, my body, all the stuff that's going on in my body, is because I've had a life of stress that was above and beyond what is normal, because a little bit of stress or whatever is good to say, it's healthy. But when you're overgoing on a constant basis, when you're always, the fight or flight, If you're always in flight or fighting and you don't find that moment of peace, eventually it wears the body down. I mean, if you're always running, eventually your body gets sick from running, right? You get sore legs and sore this and sore that, and that's what's happened to my body. And if you're always fighting, then you get uh, punched and beaten around and bullied. The body breaks down and the mind breaks down. And my body has come to a point that when it gets to this level of stress, it's like, really? You're going to do this to yourself again? It's like some diets I did all my life. I did one diet that was, when I did it the first time, I lost 60 pounds. It was great. Then, of course, I mean, you cannot eat 600 calories a day all the time. You have to get normal again. So I put the weight on. The fourth time I went on to do the same diet, my body turned on me and made me sick.
Mm.
Shut down. My mind shut down. And then I tried it again. I went off for a year. I came back to it thinking, okay, it's okay now. As soon as I tried that new diet right away, my body went, forget it.
Forget it.
I know what you're doing. I'm not going to make you do this. I'm going to shut you down. And it does. So I need to have the conversation, yes.
Mm.
The body is an interesting place. We have to listen to it. We have to honor it because it's the only one that we have. And if we do not listen to it and honor it, it will break down. And that's not because it wants to, but because we force it to. And when it's broken down to the point, my father has cirrhosis of the liver because he abused drinking all his life. The doctor says, it came to a point, the doctor said to him, if you don't stop doing this, you maybe have a month to live. But if you stop, maybe 1 year. And the funny thing about the liver, it's an organ, same with the lungs, it's an organ that rebuilds itself. It heals itself. So we have parts of our body like a lizard that grows back. But because we keep abusing, gets to a point that, you know what, I'm not going back anymore. I'm going to slowly fade away. And that's what happened to his liver. It faded away. And when he came to Canada and he was looking healthy, whatever, I think that was just the divine saying, okay, go say goodbye to your kids. I'm going to give you 2 weeks' time. But when he came here, the liver had actually gone and melted. And then the organs started shutting down. So the body is going to tell you, stop abusing me. Stop abusing me. Stop abusing me. And we don't listen. Well, I'm going to hurt you. Are you going to stop abusing me? No, I'm going to hurt you some more. Are you going to stop it? No, well, now you're going to die. Or you're going to get sick. We have to listen. We have to come to terms that this is who we are. We are all different. I mean, look at the flowers. Some flowers are tall, some are short, some are beautiful, some are different, some are red, some are yellow. There's all kinds of flowers. There's flowers that chew up little bugs. I mean, but every one of them is beautiful in their own way. So that's who we are. We're like flowers. We're just different. We're all unique.
Species, different. Is that what they call the different species of flowers? Is it species? Different. Oh, I forgot the name for the different types of flowers. Yeah. So next time I'm going to be talking about interspecies love. It's love love between humans and plants, or
Oh, I have
humans and
some. I have
animals.
some plants here that just love me and Louise so much that they're like, you just see them, and I didn't realize he actually feeds them. I don't know. I didn't know you have to feed plants, and he started feeding them. I thought like, what are you doing different? Because since you start watering them, they're like, and it's like it's the love that there is. And they're just there's no more room on this spot where we have them because they're like growing so beautiful and flowering. It's like, oh my goodness.
We need
Yes.
to get his recipe for next time to find out what he's feeding them,
I know
because
what
I
he's
just
feeding them now. I know what he's feeding them. Yeah.
okay, we'll get
Yeah.
that next time for
Okay.
interspecies love, because
Interspecies.
I feed them light, energy, and they go off the light.
Yeah.
And, yeah, because interspecies love, nature,
Well, you're
animals,
in Australia. You get more light than we do, right? So we have to
well,
feed our
more than Canada, yeah.
yeah. So we have to feed them to give them that. It's like taking vitamins, right? You have to take vitamins because we don't always get vitamin C or vitamin D, right, from the sun. So we have to take
Okay.
something else, and they're just like I'm thinking like, wow. I had a plant that was given to me when my mommy died, almost 5 years ago, whatever, and had flowers on them, lilies, some kind of lily. And then once the flowers died, they never flowered again. And then when I moved in here with Louise, and they were there, like it was just leaves, 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 leaves. And all of a sudden he started watering them, and I saw a flower come up. It's like, oh my God. And then another one, then another one. It's like, what? And it's like, what are you doing? He goes, well, I gave them food. Oh my God. They have to eat. I didn't know that. They need to eat, right? It's interesting.
And that's a real great way to connect to your body.
Yes.
Like people don't understand that we were given the body has to eat food
Yes.
so we could connect to nature, so we could
Right.
learn about loving the body through the way nature is and the
Yes.
energy of nature. Like
Right.
Sicilians get that. I mean, they have a lot of other stuff going on, but they get the food thing. That's why I grew up with a food obsession, because basically Sicilians know that you nurture the food because you're going to eat it and it
But
tastes good when you're
yeah.
cooking, because you
Right.
put that love into the cooking,
Right.
and then the whole combination makes you go yum 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 yum.
Right.
And so part of being a bigger person in Italy is like you're just enjoying that whole
You eat
relationship.
well. You're eating
Yeah,
well, and you're enjoying it, right? So
yeah,
interesting. Yes.
yeah. We used to
Yes.
have a joke in Sicily, like food or sex. What would you choose if you had to? Because food's almost like, oh, I don't
No,
know. I couldn't,
no,
if I had to say no to one, oh, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Depends
And
on the
then,
mood. Depends on
yeah.
what I'm hungry
Oh,
for.
really?
Well,
No,
depends what.
I was like, oh no, it was just a funny conversation starter.
Yeah, yeah. What is that's? I never heard of that one. And I'm half
Yeah,
Sicilian, so that's good.
yeah.
That's good
I
to
was
know.
maybe the East Coast. I don't know. Maybe went through periods of famine and in
Oh,
war,
okay.
so we were like,
Yeah.
oh, no interest unless we have food, because there's now. I mean, food deprivation. I'll talk about this more, but food
Yeah.
deprivation is less of a problem on Earth, but it
Yes.
still happens. And now, what
Huge.
you've just mentioned with the plants, it's nutrition.
Yes.
And part of what we're learning through the pandemic is that we humans need nutrition, and also the way we stress our bodies is not in alignment with the way our bodies
No, it's not
really
what the bodies were made to
are.
do. No, we were
So,
just, and I think I don't know. I don't think it's in all cultures. I mean, growing up in Italy, I don't know. The women, I mean, the men went to work and the women didn't work at the time. They were home and used to get up in the morning, get dressed, and put on their lipstick, go to the mercato, buy fresh food or whatever, and go home. And it was a different. And they would have lunch and they would have a little siesta. Like it's all, and it wasn't how big or skinny or whatever you were. It's just about enjoying the moment, right? So that's what I grew up looking at. That's what I wanted to do. As I get old, that's what I want to do. I want to go away for a couple of months when it's cold over here. Enjoy the sun, go get a little bottle of wine, go on the beach, have some veggies, have some chicken or whatever, and enjoy the moment, right? Yeah, life is too short, Angela. We have to enjoy the moments that we get. Yes.
so we'll leave the love of the body, loving your body here. What does shapes and size got to do with it? If anyone's watching, you want to put some comments in about shape and size that you might have particular issues around, please do.
Hmm.
And also, next time we're going to be really looking at the nature of the body when we connect to other species,
Okay.
plants and animals, and how that can be a way to connect to our nature, our
Our
body's
nature.
nature.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Thank you, Angela. Always a
Thanks,
pleasure.
Gina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye bye. Bye, everybody.
Right.